Latest reports reveal that Terence Crawford is set to fight the winner of the Tszyu versus Keith Thurman fight. The outcome of Tszyu versus Thurman could pave the way for another blockbuster event in the sport.
Canelo, I'd love to, I'd love to. I respect Crawford. I think he's one caliber of a fighter, but we were in negotiation to fight. But this fight came across first, and I think me and Crawford will definitely collide in the future for sure, 100%. I can just keep fighting who I can, There's a list of names. I feel like I'm John Wick, and there's a list of names that I'm just trying to tick, tick, tick. And I'm like a Grim Reaper. I'm holding it, and again, Keith Thurman will be just another name on the John Wick hit list. I want the big names. I want the best fights. I'm not scared of no one.
Last July, Crawford achieved a dominant victory over Spence, securing the title of undisputed welterweight champion. The bout came with a rematch provision, which Spence opted for. However, Mike Coppinger of ESPN has recently disclosed that the lack of enforcement regarding the rematch has relieved Crawford from the obligation of scheduling his next bout with PBC. He said, "Crawford signed a one-fight deal with PBC to meet Errol Spence last July, and after Bud won the undisputed welterweight championship, Spence exercised the rematch clause." He further added, "However, Spence underwent cataract surgery in January, and the scheduling window provided by the rematch clause has since expired, meaning Crawford, like Canelo, is also a network and promotional free agent." Crawford's status as a free agent opens up a plethora of opportunities for the Omaha native as he sets his sights on locking in his next bout. As hopes for a rematch with Spence dwindle, speculation abounds regarding Crawford's next move. Yet, fans can find solace in the possibility of an exciting new direction on the horizon. On the other hand, Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn emphasizes the importance for Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis to engage in more bouts in order to maintain their relevance and popularity among fans. Hearn said, "You've got to stay active. That's the thing with Terence Crawford. He's going to be out of the ring for nearly a year again. Take a fight to Omaha. Defend your world titles." The drive to stay consistently active in the ring seems to have faded for both Tank Davis and Crawford following their recent lucrative bouts. Their motivation to fight frequently appears to have waned since their significant financial successes.
Crawford was? Well, I think, don't forget, both of these guys' first big breakout night was on our shows, on Matchroom shows. So firstly, I think we need all the credit for Saturday. I mean, we're pretty much promoting the fight, to be honest with you, but I remember seeing both of these young men come over. Terence Crawford first was a 135-pounder, came to Glasgow, was the mandatory challenger. We heard how good this guy was.
Crawford, the unified welterweight champion, and Tank Davis, holder of the WBA regular lightweight belt, engage in an annual showdown. They epitomize a contemporary archetype of champions who strategically choose fights sparingly, holding out for lucrative paydays. Hearn added, "You've got money. It's not like you're going to be fighting for free. You're going to be making millions. But stay relevant and build your superstar status. People will forget about you." One can only hope that Crawford won't find himself regretting in the future for not engaging in more bouts and maximizing his earnings. Should he squander his wealth, he may rue the missed opportunities to showcase his determination by fighting more frequently. Meanwhile, Tszyu, the rising star of Australian boxing, is eyeing Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. as his next targets. Yet that's not the entirety of his revelations during his recent interview with Fox Sports. The journalist wasted no time delving into the topic with Tszyu, swiftly questioning him regarding the circulating speculation surrounding a potential bout with Terence Crawford. "There have been talks between us, and I give Crawford all respect. He'll fight anyone, and that's why I see him as such a great challenge," said Tszyu. It's noteworthy to highlight that Crawford was slated to have a rematch with Spence Jr., but the plans were thwarted due to Crawford undergoing cataract surgery.
Masterclass. Crawford looked exceptionally well. Did a great job. Beautiful power jab, controlled distance. Just a masterful performance. 154 is my division. If they want it, they can come get it. She also said something about Tony Harrison, so what ended up happening there.
Nonetheless, Tszyu maintains that Crawford isn't impervious to defeat. Nevertheless, the likelihood of a bout between them remains uncertain as Tszyu states. There's a lot going on. It could be Crawford, Errol Spence, whichever one is easiest to make. While Tszyu is eyeing a significant clash following Thurman in America, he holds a subdued opinion of most American fighters. In a prior segment of the Fox Sports interview, the reporter raised Tszyu's remarks regarding American fighters, in which he referred to them as pussies and queried him about the resulting backlash. He said, "No one said anything to me because no one can argue it. It isn't like this is something I'm making up. We've also got guys now who disappear on honeymoons. They have no drive. Don't stay active." There are a lot of fighters that comment was directed at. When questioned about naming some of these fighters, Tszyu boldly included Jermall Charlo, Spence Jr., and his upcoming opponent. Charlo is one of them. Errol Spence Jr. a bit too, although at least he is trying to make big fights. Then you've got Keith Thurman. He's another one, said Tszyu. Even though the fight month hasn't even arrived, Tszyu is already scouting for his next opponent. This not only demonstrates his lack of regard for Keith Thurman as a formidable adversary, but also underscores his determination to carve out a reputation for himself in the boxing world. Nevertheless, Tszyu could face a setback if Thurman springs a surprise.
I think everyone was in shock, you know. He's got that pound-for-pound crown now for a reason, you know, #1 pound-for-pound, just because of the way he fought.
While nothing is certain, should Crawford opt to confront him, the audacious Australian will stand firm without wavering. "I'd welcome that fight with both hands. I'm not scared of no one," said an amped-up Tszyu to Fight Hub TV. Although facing Crawford is a logical choice, Tszyu remains eager to secure a clash with Charlo. From afar, Tszyu assessed his prospects for causing an upset. Despite Charlo's possession of all 4 major world titles in the 154-pound category, the 28-year-old didn't perceive him as an insurmountable force. Rather, Tszyu regarded him as a skilled but decipherable opponent. Crawford, however, posed a distinct challenge. Tszyu said, "Crawford's very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. When I see Charlo, I see a lot of gaps, a lot of holes. But Crawford? He's #1 pound for pound for a reason." In practical terms, facing off against Crawford will undoubtedly demand Tszyu to employ his strategic prowess. Despite maintaining his unwavering confidence, Tszyu acknowledges that defeating Crawford poses one of the most formidable challenges in the realm of boxing.
He couldn't, I don't know, just couldn't do nothing. Nothing. Everything, he was coming in, he was getting countered. It was just, it was a shutout, man.
While Tszyu remained focused on his upcoming American opponent, he couldn't resist referencing Crawford and expressing his belief in his ability to hand the Nebraska fighter his first career defeat. Tszyu told Fox Sports Australia, "That's why this upcoming fight means so much. I win, and the possibilities are endless." Keith Thurman is poised for a monumental return to the boxing scene as he prepares to face off against Tszyu following a 2-year hiatus from the ring. In a bid to generate excitement surrounding his comeback, Thurman, also known as One Time, made bold assertions during a press conference leading up to the fight. He characterized Tszyu, dubbed the Soul Taker, as a static boxer with a style reminiscent of Mexican fighters. Despite Thurman's attempts to unsettle his undefeated opponent, Tszyu remains unfazed by the remarks. In the interview, the journalist raised Thurman's remarks concerning Tszyu. Responding to this, the unbeaten Australian remarked, "I'm uncertain about what he's suggesting there. Perhaps he believes I'm an easy target?" Whatever the case, Tszyu defended the style during the press conference, which Tszyu thinks made Thurman back out of his comment because he knew he f***ed up. Upon further inquiry regarding the occurrence, Tszyu elaborated on his impressions of Thurman as an individual. "The guy doesn't think before he speaks. His build to fighting Manny Pacquiao in 2019, exactly the same. He's just a little yapper, and I've always found the bigger the dog, the less they bark. But Chihuahuas, they're going to yap. It's all for show," said Tszyu. However, he wasn't done criticizing the former unified welterweight. Following Tszyu's comparison of Thurman to a Chihuahua, the journalist probed Tszyu for his perspective on Thurman's absence from the ring over the past couple of years. "Comfort, I think. I mean, where is his drive? These guys make a few bucks, get some attention, and everything changes. They aren't as hungry anymore," Tszyu suggested, as the reason behind Thurman's hiatus. However, when Tszyu asserted that he embodied the complete antithesis of the situation, and this contrast didn't bode well for him, the journalist inquired. Tszyu said, "Why? Because you never switch off. I can't go on holiday and relax. I just can't. You can't do any of these things because you're always chasing that next goal. And that definitely has its own challenges." Keith Thurman made a concerted effort to rattle Tszyu's composure before the bout, but his attempts proved futile. Nonetheless, the true examination awaits Tszyu as both contenders step into the ring on March 30th.
You want to make?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyone can get it. I'm the man now at 154. Charlo's going up, so hopefully the belts get vacated and we get to fight for the belts and show who the true boogeyman of the division really is.
Now, coming back to the breaking news of Crawford fighting the winner of the Tszyu versus Keith Thurman fight, Michael Benson tweeted, "WBO President Paco Valcárcel has revealed that he and Terence Crawford have discussed the possibility of Crawford moving up to super welterweight for his next fight. Crawford could use his status as WBO Super Champion to automatically become WBO mandatory challenger for Tszyu, who is first set to fight Keith Thurman at a 155 pounds catchweight on March 30th. Tszyu has consistently expressed his aspiration to compete in boxing's most prominent bouts, and it seems that ambition has taken a significant stride forward. The Australian contender must overcome Keith Thurman. If he achieves his goals, he could have the opportunity to meet Terence Crawford, who holds titles in 2 weight divisions and is recognized as the undisputed world champion. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, the president of the WBO shared his insights regarding the upcoming PBC on Prime pay-per-view event scheduled for next month. Francisco Valcarcel said, "That will be a tough fight for Tszyu because Thurman can fight. On paper, you have to pick Tszyu, but in boxing, anything can happen." Crawford presently possesses 3 out of the 4 primary welterweight championship belts, having defeated Errol Spence to consolidate the division last July. Subsequently, he was stripped of the IBF title, with the WBO Bud has been designated as a super champion. As per the regulations of the association, super champions have the privilege of being designated as the compulsory challenger for the WBO champion in either the division above or below. Meanwhile, Valcarcel proceeded to mention that Crawford is slated to make a visit to the WBO headquarters in Puerto Rico within the upcoming week, hinting at the possibility of significant developments on the horizon. He said, "I can tell you, Crawford will be here next week. I'm not authorized to explain to you, make it public, but I have been talking to Crawford for a long time now. This is the first interview I've talked to about Crawford and the possibility of moving to 154 pounds. The insight emerged during an interview where the interviewer inquired about the thoughts of the WBO president regarding the imminent showdown between WBO light middleweight title holder Tszyu and Keith Thurman. The head of the WBO shared his perspective on the thrilling showdown. Yet, what resonated as particularly noteworthy was the warning for the victor, specifically the potential opponents awaiting them in the mandatory challenge. He said, "But the winner of that fight has a tough cookie for his next mandatory." Afterward, he elaborated on their arrangements for honoring him with a special acknowledgement and engaged in further deliberation regarding the upcoming battle. Paco emphasized that he couldn't provide extensive insights on this particular topic at the moment. The interviewer inquired about the possibility of receiving updates on Crawford's upcoming fight soon. The WBO chief responded, "I don't know what will happen, but will be soon." The two met during the inauguration of the new Boxing Bullies Gym, part of the Jake Paul Outreach Program in Carolina, Puerto Rico. Valcarcel's remarks echo statements previously voiced by a member of Crawford's camp during an interview conducted just the prior month. If enthusiasts are eager to piece together the puzzle, they should recall Tszyu's recent remarks. During a press conference, the WBO light middleweight champion hinted at ongoing discussions between his and Crawford's teams regarding a potential bout. However, it's premature to draw conclusions until formal arrangements are made.
So that's the clash of the boxing, you know. It's a fight for each other's will, and who's gonna grab that will first, you know.
Terence Crawford, he's sort of, you know, potential move up to 154. Is that a fight that could be a mega fight for yourself?
Yeah, I'd welcome that with both hands as well. Any mega fight, you know. I'm not scared of no one.
Sean Porter recently turned his attention to Tszyu and Keith Thurman, evaluating their chances against Crawford. Tszyu and Thurman both bring something different to the table, he observed, noting the contrasting styles and strengths of the two fighters. Tszyu with his relentless pressure and punching power, and Thurman with his experience, movement, and versatility offer distinct challenges. However, Porter emphasized that regardless of their individual attributes, both fighters would need to elevate their performances to contend with Crawford's elite level. But they'll need to be at their absolute best against Terence, Porter continued, stressing the necessity for Tszyu and Thurman to reach their peak physical and mental condition to stand a chance against Crawford. This statement reflects Porter's recognition of Crawford's exceptional talent and the comprehensive skill set he brings to every fight. According to Porter, facing Crawford is not just a physical battle, it's a mental and tactical war that demands flawless execution and unwavering focus. Porter also said that Tim is not fighting Charlo.
I'm going to tell you, you're not fighting Jermell Charlo. I've said that so many times. He's not coming back to 154 pounds, and I don't think he wants to get in the ring with Tszyu. You're a headache. You're a nightmare. You're a hard night for just about anybody in that weight class. Yeah. Is it heartbreaking to hear that you're not going to fight Jermell Charlo?
Oh man, there's still a bit of hope.
Let go of those hopes, sir.
Hopefully, man.
Max Kellerman, a respected boxing analyst known for his deep understanding of the sport's nuances and history, emphasized the broader implications of such a matchup for the welterweight division and boxing as a whole. "This is what the sport needs, the best fighting the best," Kellerman began, highlighting a sentiment long echoed by fans and purists of the sport. He stressed that boxing thrives when top contenders and champions face off in the ring, as it not only determines the true elite, but also elevates the sport's profile and appeal. Kellerman's statement reflects a broader desire for high-stakes matchups matchups that bring clarity to weight classes often muddled by politics and disparate sanctioning bodies. Continuing, Kellerman elaborated on the potential matchup. Crawford waiting for Tszyu versus Thurman winner sets up a blockbuster. Here, he underscores the anticipation building around this sequence of events. The prospect of Crawford, a fighter widely regarded for his skill, intelligence, and versatility, facing either Tszyu, a rising star with a relentless attacking style, or Thurman, a seasoned fighter known for his power and tactical acumen, is a tantalizing one for fans and analysts alike. Meanwhile, addressing Mill City boxing, Coach Bernie Davis expressed that a bout against Tszyu stands as the top contender for the undefeated 36-year-old's comeback to the boxing ring. "I think Tszyu will be the right one since we can't get Spence," Davis said. Tszyu is presently in possession of the WBO championship belt in the 154-pound weight class. This elevation came about after he was promoted from interim champion status following Jermell Charlo's relinquishment of the title. Charlo's decision to pursue a bout with Saul Canelo Alvarez instead of facing the unbeaten Sydney Sider led to his forfeiture of the championship. Davis said, "We want to move up and still make history, still have something to get up for, and even though Boots is an attractive option, I think Tszyu just edges him a little bit, although Tszyu won't defend his belt in the upcoming bout against Thurman due to the WHO's refusal to sanction it as a title fight. A defeat could significantly diminish his reputation." According to Paco Valcarcel, a loss might also jeopardize Tszyu's chances of securing a future match with Crawford. Davis said, "I think Tszyu fought the better competition. I think he's been looking more spectacular in his fights, and he got the country, Australia, behind him. Tszyu won't put his WBO super welterweight championship on the line when he squares off against Thurman this coming March." But Davis revealed some interesting details.
As far as with Boots, but I think Tszyu it'll be the right one since we can't get Spence. He's entangled in getting himself together, recuperating. Boots again, because we have 47. Bud is a 47-pounder. I think that's his best weight is a 47.
The Australian fighter claimed the interim championship title by overcoming Tony Harrison in March of last year. Following this victory, he successfully defended his title against Carlos Ocampo and Brian Mendoza in subsequent matches. Davis stated, "Plus, he has something that we want. It's another weight class to jump, and it's another thing to aspire to, so that's where I would think we would land." Meanwhile, Terence Crawford appears to be keeping his distance from the prospect of stepping into the ring with WBO super lightweight title holder Teofimo Lopez. Lopez is set to make a thrilling comeback on Thursday evening as he steps into the ring to defend his championship belt against the formidable Jermaine Ortiz under the glittering lights of Las Vegas. Lopez has been quite vocal about his desire to step into the ring with one of the top pound-for-pound fighters globally. However, when questioned by Fight Hub TV regarding the prospect of fighting Lopez, Crawford bluntly replied, "Fuck Tszyu." The Nebraska combatant refrained from delving deeper into the rationale behind their reaction, but this is not it. Terence Crawford also envisions a clash with Saul Canelo Alvarez as the pinnacle event in boxing. Crawford recently took to his social media platform, X, to voice his eagerness for a potential bout against the formidable Mexican fighter. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is the biggest fight in boxing right now. Like it or not, it's just facts, Crawford wrote. Although a potential bout between Crawford and Alvarez is bound to capture significant attention, there linger apprehensions about whether it might push Crawford beyond his limits. Moving up 3 weight divisions to materialize this showdown could pose considerable challenges for him. So far, the major obstacle hindering an Alvarez versus Crawford showdown is Crawford's necessity to ascend 3 weight divisions to challenge the Mexican champion. However, any hopes for this dream match have taken a nosedive as Alvarez recently quashed the possibility of facing Crawford in an interview with Box Azteca. "No," Canelo firmly stated in response to inquiries about a potential encounter with Crawford.
I can't go down anymore. But like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, he needs to enjoy his fight. Okay, he deserves it. He deserves it. I like Spence, but I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything. But I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford is fighter is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
Thank you very much.
Alvarez proceeded to elaborate on his rationale, asserting that engaging in a bout with Crawford would yield him no tangible benefits. He said, "So now if you imagine Crawford as a welterweight, 168 pounds, I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because if I win, they'll say, oh, he was too small, and everything." Although Alvarez has no intention of facing Crawford in the ring, he disclosed his upcoming return on May 4th in Las Vegas, where he'll take on a yet-to-be-announced challenger. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.